I appreciate everybody that's in here. If you've enjoyed this show, it got a little spicy. I don't like the way that they've been handling Trey Lance. And it's weird because I was thinking about it and I'm like, he's not going to get the same opportunity because now everybody's going to look at Trey Lance to be the savior. And he's not that. Trey Lance ain't the savior of this right now. Not what's going on with this team. Not this 3-5 team. There's a lot more going on. But I would like to see him get in because, okay, let's start this development. I don't think that's the way that it's going to be perceived. He's going to get nitpicked for everything that he does. But again, we've watched all these other guys. And I don't know if y'all have watched them, but I've watched all these other guys. And they have up moments, they have down moments. They all have had it. He hasn't had the opportunity. He's had one start, and that was it. All right, now y'all can come on. Now y'all can come on. Appreciate everybody that's in here. Again, if you've enjoyed this show, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate everybody that's in here. Dolan Knight, we're not going to focus on you anymore because you had your chance to come on. You had the chance to warn us or whatever it is that you're trying to do, but you didn't want to come on. And this wasn't about me, like, I want to hear your perspective, Dolan Knight. I just want to hear your perspective. I want to hear why you think that, as opposed to anything else that these other rookies have done. And I think that's the part. Now, if you look at him, if you want to look at Trey Lance as just an isolate, like, let's disregard anything else that any other rookie has done this year. Let's not look at any of that. The Justin Fields throwing for one net passing yard in the game, getting sacked 9 times, getting sacked a league high. If you want to look at, if you don't want to look at Trevor Lawrence and what he's, his ups and downs, or even Mac Jones throwing 3 picks and multiple pick sixes in the game, he's in a good situation with the Patriots. If you don't want to look at any of that and you just want to look at an isolated situation with Trey Lance and disregard everything else, first game starting in 2 years, all that, then I'd say, okay, yeah, we could say he had a bad game. But if you're going to factor in him with all the other rookies, then there is no way you can say that was a bad game with what we were expecting from him. All right. So again, I don't want to come on and say that, like, I know more than anybody else, but I wanted to give Dolan Knight the opportunity to come on and just, speak his piece, and we could just have that conversation together. And I hope that everybody else, again, people that are coming on, you don't have to say anything that you feel is going to please me or anything like that. I just want to have this conversation, whatever. You know what I'm saying? However, y'all got the first guy up. Bradley, you over there at work?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, I still got my NFL draft. Hold on. Let me take that. I didn't know I still had that up. Hold on. All right, there we go. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, sir, but it's still early. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. What's your take on all of this?
I mean, I believe that he's getting set up for failure, just like you said. Personally, I take the quote from Jimmy Garoppolo when he said, when asked if he game plans with Kyle Shanahan, he said no. How are you supposed to have a rookie quarterback develop when you are not allowing him to game plan with you and to figure out situations that's going to better him and help him out in games? That makes no sense to me. No sense. So that's the main thing that I look at when we talk about Trey Lance. He's not going to be able to dissect things with Kyle Shanahan and just how the quarterback Josh Allen, him and his quarterback guru that's helped him so much. They go on games and chat with each other online all the time, just about like a play that they thought about that night that they could run in the next game. And I don't see that as a possibility ever with Kyle Shanahan. It's just his rules, his game plan, follow it. So that's what I think. What do you think?
My bad, I was muted. It kind of is what it is. We'll see how they work to, get this thing along and start getting going in the right direction. But I am encouraged by a lot of what I've seen from Trey Lance and encouraged that it's going in the right direction. But I do think that Kyle has done him a little bit of a disservice by putting him in a situation where now, if he plays, he's going to be looked at as someone that has to kind of save or salvage the season. And I don't know if he's going to quite do that. And I think that's tough.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They're putting all the weight on his shoulders. They're not giving him. It's like they're not giving him the material before the test. They're just giving him the test and going, "Here you go,
Right.
ace it." So that's what I
Yeah.
feel. But I won't yap your ear off anymore. I appreciate you letting me come on, and you have a good rest of the day, sir.
All right. You have a good one. That's what's up. What's up? Here we go. Next person on. We got my guy Jedi.
What's up, bro? See you again.
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. How are you and your fam, brother?
Oh, everybody's good. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. Chilling, chilling.
That's good. Hey, I was throwing something out there in the chat earlier. I wanted to hear your opinion about it.
Yeah.
Is Kyle Shanahan Tom Coughlin? And I say that because when Tom Coughlin got to Jacksonville, he did okay. He had a good running scheme, but he wore on his players. Then he got fired. He went to the Giants, started to wear on them, had good Tiki Barber years. Tiki left. Strahan pulls Coughlin aside, I guess on the off season, whatever, and tells him, dude, you got to change. Like, you got to do some serious changing of how you do and handle business on a daily around this operation, or you're going to lose all of us. And he snaps. And something happens with Tom, and he changes. So Kyle has to come to the fork in the road with his personality. He has to come to the fork in the road where he has to learn how to now you can't play both sides anymore. And I think that's that's when people say we don't have leadership, that's playing both sides. You're trying to have your cake, you're trying to have cake and eat of two. I hope I said it right this time. You can't have Jimmy on the roster and have Trey. You needed to make a decision. You can't worry about whether your decision was right or wrong. You have to say, this is the way we're steering the ship. Whoever's on the ship, get on the ship in the off season. If you want out, we'll figure out a way we can get you off this ship. But we're going this way, whether you like it, whether you don't. That's leadership. It's called making decisions that everyone might not like. That's making decisions that people might not understand at the time. You have to have a vision. You have to see it when no one else sees it.
Right.
You have to steer your ship with conviction. And when you don't, how can I as a player put my body on the line for you and you can't commit to anything? You guys, when you were out there, playing corner, you were putting your body on the line. You were committed to your defensive coordinator because you trusted him. You believed in him. You knew that he had conviction. We can't worry about whether he was right or wrong all the time or whether he had the right decision when he went down the path. That's not, we worry about that down. The people out there play Monday morning quarterback. That's their job to do. We have to have conviction. We have to say, this is where we're going. Get on board or get off. And until Kyle decides that, okay, I'm at my fork in the road, this is my vision from now on. I don't care who in this locker room wants to go with the vision or not. They have a decision. Just like I made my decision, they have one now. You either get on board or you get off. If you don't want this kid, we'll figure out a way to get you off this roster. But we're going to push the kid. We're not going to rush him. You got to Kyle has to get into Trey's ear from now on and say, you know what, kid? When you do start, don't worry about it. We lose, we lose. Whatever happens, happens. What I want to see out of you, kid, is growth. That's it. I don't want you making the same mistakes.
I think that's tough, though, to say that now because, I think early in the season, I feel like you could have probably said that, right? Because, you have time to get things back on track. I think where they're at now, it's tough for Kyle to have that conversation with him and say that because Kyle has preached that the expectations are to win. So I don't think you could say like, oh, well, we want to win. But then now I can tell this rookie, hey, don't matter if we win or lose. I just want to see you grow or whatever. I don't think you can have that conversation with him. That's why I say, and I talked about it before we got on here. I felt like he's put himself and Trey Lance in a really tough position because now the stakes are going to be higher from here on out, as opposed to playing him as a rookie. And even if you play him as a rookie and he's 3-5, play him as a rookie, I mean, from week 1, and he's 3-5, now you can say, okay, we like where he's going. We like where he's progressing. Okay, like let's build on that. Okay, we're only a game out and a half out of the playoffs. But you've done this with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I feel like now Trey Lance is going to be looked at to kind of save or salvage the season. But I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to get the next caller on.
Thank you, brother. Uh-huh.
All right. Here we go. Got my guy Ryan coming on. Ryan, what's good, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, chilling.
Hey, I think a perfect example of what Cal should have done was from the hoodie. Bill Belichick is the GOAT for a reason. He had Cam Newton come in there, kind of showed my man what was supposed to be done as a pro, how to galvanize a team. Throughout the whole OTAs, you heard Cam Newton taking first string reps, but Mac Jones getting the opportunity to take first string reps as well. When he saw he had enough little oomph in his system, they said, "Okay, Cam, thank you for your job. You showed the rookie how to come along. Now we're gonna go with the rookie." He had an opportunity to build chemistry, but also it showed leadership, it showed direction, and it shows how we want to build this offense not only for this year but for the years to come. And the reason why Mac looking better than all these other teams is this: that team that Cam played with last year was decent. But when you got a haul of new players coming in through the free agents, a lot of players coming back from COVID, you got a whole new team, a better team. So now he has a better supporting cast, which would it would kind of look like the 49ers team. So he was able to grow with the team and become a better player with the team. And Kyle Shanahan cut off his nose to spite his face. And everybody like Matt Miyoko, Grant Cohen, all the people in the Bay Area were supporting, like, man, that boy, he looking good. But he had already put that $25 million in there, and he didn't want to snatch it back. He should have cut his losses, went on with Trey, and he'll be in a better position than he would have been.
Right. I appreciate that take. I'm going to get you off and get the next caller on, but also have something to kind of talk about, to kind of elaborate on that and some of the things I've seen in the chat. One, Mac Jones took the job. Trey Lance hasn't taken anything. I think what the last caller was saying was there was a window where Trey Lance was kind of outplaying Jimmy Garoppolo, but wasn't given the legit opportunity to really take over as that guy in that top spot. And that was early on in training camp with the 49ers. I think there was an opportunity in the first couple of weeks when Trey Lance was on fire. There was a chance right then to be like, okay, we're encouraged by what we're seeing, and we need to continue to move forward with this kid, and let's just get Jimmy out of there. Kyle didn't do that. And that's what he's saying. We could say Mac Jones did, but in the last preseason game that we saw Cam Newton play, Cam Newton started the game. What was it? He only had like one incompletion. He completed like his first 10 out of 11 passes. They scored multiple points, and then he was cut the next week. So it wasn't that Cam Newton wasn't playing well or showing signs of being encouraged, or that he wasn't even outplaying Mac Jones, but Mac Jones showed enough to where they're like, you know what, regardless of this, we're just going to ride with our rookie. And that's what they did. And then 49ers really kind of could have taken that same approach at one point, but then they kind of drug it out and they just stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think with the Patriots, they probably went into it like, hey, if he starts to get close, we're getting rid of Cam. That was never the thought process for the 49ers. Just my opinion. Here we go. Next guy up. I got Dion. What up, man?
What's happening with you, man? How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I'm chilling. How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? Got to appreciate the wife. She bumped the Chick-fil-A this morning, so, I'm well fed.
Yeah.
Hey, so I was listening to you as far as what the title of this is as far as draft class. Here's the thing. Our later round picks we usually hit on. Been that way since John Lynch has been here. I think the issue the fan base has with the first 3 picks is the fact that they're just not being used. So you hope that the Trey Lance sitting and learning effect works the way that it did for Aaron Rodgers and certain other quarterbacks. But we don't know if that will. You hope that Aaron Banks comes along at some point, but we all, like you said, wanted Asante Samuel Jr. Trey Sermon, there's no reason he shouldn't be starting. Ambry
Well, I'm not
Thomas,
going to
our
say that there's
first.
no reason he shouldn't be starting. I won't say that. What I
Well,
would
okay,
say
well,
is
no
that
reason he should be
he should be in the
playing. I
rotation of
apologize.
backs. Yeah,
Yeah,
he should be in the rotation of backs. He
because
doesn't. People think that he sucks, and Trey Sermon hasn't
Mm-mm.
showed anything that's like, I can't run for you guys. I can't play well. I
Nope.
can't do well in this system. He actually ran well, but they just refused to play him. And I don't know
That
why.
has, yeah, you're right, and I appreciate you correcting me on that. I meant to say basically he deserved, because Kyle, all the years he's been here, has he not ran a 2-back rotation consistently? He always has one banger. He has one speed guy. So it doesn't make sense why Trey Sermon isn't going. So from a fan base standpoint, we look at it and go, our first 4 picks are doing nothing for us, and we don't understand why. Aaron Banks, from what I heard, was stumbling all over his feet, so he ain't as athletic and as they put him out there to be. Trey Lance is just sitting on the sidelines rotting, while Justin Fields is getting valuable reps and starting to, learn, and the game slows down for him. And then Trey Sermon, they just don't want to play him, and he's getting buried further and further on the depth chart, because by next week, I believe Jeff Wilson is going to be back, so that's going to push him down to like the 4th running back behind Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Jermichael Hasty. So it's just confusing why the later round picks always seem to pan out, but the first few picks, who typically everybody would expect to start and contribute in some way, are never. It's never the case. So, I mean, just looking at the first round picks, look at Javon Kinlaw. He ain't playing. He out for the season. They knew when they drafted him he had chronic knee injury. You know what I'm saying? Nick Bosa played 1 year, ACL the next year. Now he's playing again. So you got to think about it. You draft players with an injury history, these things will happen. So you need to be smarter with your picks, and that's for Lynch and Shanahan. But as far as the time frame, Shanahan will be here for at least another 2 years at a bare minimum, people, beyond this year. So we're going to have to just deal with him and hope and pray to God that he has a coming to Jesus moment or something, because he's got to give up that personnel control, because he openly just said Jalen Hurd has no plans to play this year. Like, he can't play. So then why is he still on the team? Why haven't you cut him after 3 years of inactivity, doing nothing? Only 2 little plays in the Cowboys game that some fans still love to relive. We can't live off 2019 for the Super Bowl season as far as the team, and we can't live off those moments for Jalen Hurd. He has to be able to move forward. And hopefully next year we're going to get that. He did say mathematically, if we're eliminated, Trey Lance and the rookies would be able to get in. So if we lose to the Rams, it's starting to look bleak, because looking at the standing outside of the division leaders, the Rams get the 5th seed, and then the other 2 seeds, technically speaking, if it were to start today, will go to the NFC South, because they're all above us. So no, we're not eliminated, but it's a tough road, man. And I just, I don't have any faith that we're going anywhere, and I feel like we have to put the kid in to just let him get the reps so that the game slows down for him. So when he hits the ground running next year, it's not as bad, because you don't want to put those kind of expectations on that kid. Well, here's the hype. We got to see what Trey Lance has. He sat for a year. It was Kyle's plan. And then they're going to destroy that kid, and they're going to destroy Kyle. And that could kill a young kid's confidence, man. He's still growing. I know when we as men start to come into our own, we think we know everything. Bro, it takes time. You still grow. I'm growing every day. You know what I'm saying? So we don't always know every single thing and how to handle that kind of pressure. He has good parents, and I believe his father will be able to help him with that. But at some point in your life, you do get inside your own head, and it can be frustrating. So let's hope for for his sake, that he's able to withstand all the negative attention that he may or may not receive, depending on how he plays. But at the same time, let's hope our coach gets his head out of his ass and starts to think properly. And for the people out there, don't ever try to say that Kyle should do anything among the likes of Bill Belichick. Those are two different people, and I'm talking about polar opposites, the full 360. Belichick don't care. Belichick cares about one thing: it's putting a W up on the board. Kyle cares about looking good and doing things his way. At least that's what we've seen.
Right.
But appreciate you, Crocky. You have a wonderful day, man. Blessings to you and the family, my brother.
All right. Here we go. Next person on, my guy Smitty. Oh wait, Roscoe. Hold on, my bad, Roscoe. All right, Smitty. Here we go. Hold on, you're on mute.
There, that looks more like me and sounds more like me.
There we go. Gotcha, man. What's good, man? How you doing this morning?
I'm good, bro. Look, I real quickly wanted to say, like, first of all, I don't know how people even support Shanahan at this point. I mean, just from he's not it. He's not a good head coach, and I know he could potentially be a good OC. I'm not saying there hasn't been times where I've been like, yeah, this guy has some, genius in him. It's some word people threw around a lot, especially after draft day. But we sometimes you just got to call it what it is. And there are too many misses with this guy revolving around the quarterback, even from the offseason reports about Brady wanting to come to San Fran. This is crazy to me that people still support him. And I kind of get tired of hearing from a lot of people that if Trey Lance goes in there, it's like a lost season. The problem is he's going to be thrown in, like you said, and I've heard a lot of your guests say, he's going to be thrown in when it's too late for him to even have a chance. What has he done to prove to anybody that he's a potential lost season type guy to get behind? He hasn't even had a chance yet. Like, I'm so tired of hearing people say that if we put him in there, we got to be ready to lose. He hasn't even had a chance. When you put him in there, whether it be in a preseason game or against the Cardinals, he's literally either created a comeback drive or a comeback or gone toe-to-toe. Like, I don't even understand why Shanahan's not giving him a chance to prove himself while he has a shot to even create some kind of comeback season.
Right. Some kind of spark.
You what?
I said some kind of spark.
Yeah, I mean, he's done nothing to prove that he can't be as good as any of the other rookies. He hasn't had a chance, and I think he's got all the tools, all the intangibles to maybe overcome some of the bad play calling. And even if he is shoved in there, okay, even if he's shoved into the lineup, I think he has those intangibles and the ability to scramble and make something out of nothing and use his own decision making, which he proved in the past with a 28-0 touchdown to interception ratio, that he knows when to tuck and run and when to create something out of nothing. The problem's been too is whenever he's been inserted or used, this offense has been Jimmy G built. The pass protections, everything changes when he gets in there. He's never had a shot, a team offense playbook built for him. And I said this from the beginning, Croc. I was one of the only people, and I think you and I talked about on a Niner show. I think we both talked about Lance being the guy we thought might get drafted. I forget if that was you when we're on the Nothing But Niners show together. But this is a guy who said he's going to the Niners. Trey Lance is going to the Niners, and no one thought he was going to the Niners. And then I think it was you and another guest on that show was like, no, I think Trey Lance is going to be the pick. But the crazy part, I got
my guy Roscoe's too. My guy Roscoe's, he's coming on next. Ask him how I felt about Trey Lance before and who I thought the 49ers should take. But go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like I felt like this was going to be the pick, and then I was wrong about everything else relating to Shanahan and how he would use him, when he would use him. I honestly believe he's not Shanahan's guy. I'm convinced at this point that he was not his pick. That's the only explanation. And I hear other people say, "Oh, he's going to try and delay using Trey Lance because that's his card to say, hey, I need another year. I haven't used him yet." I don't even understand that concept either. Like, this man not using his top weapon, like the guy he drafted. To not use him at this point is grounds for, I believe, being removed. I don't understand how he's still there. And I blame Lynch. I blame everybody at the top for not forcing his hand earlier or now. And it doesn't feel like that's going to happen. I feel like how much leeway are we giving Shanahan to continue to go down this road?
So I have a question for you, and I agree with everything you're saying right now. And I think the time for the 49ers, especially, so Peacock and I, you guys listen to Locked On 49ers, we had a cap guy on in the preseason. And what he had said was if the 49ers were to cut bait with Jimmy Garoppolo right then and there, they could roll over $24 million. When he said that, I was like, oh, they need to let Jimmy go, roll with the rookie, and build on whatever it is. You have a good team, whatever happens. And then next year, you have $50 million to put towards the team to build around your second-year starter, who in theory would be heading in the right direction, right? Obviously, Kyle decided not to do that. When you look at what Kyle has done, do you think that he's put himself in a more difficult position by not starting Trey Lance right away, and now eventually putting him in to be the savior? And do you think that's an unfair position for a guy to be in that has one start under his belt in like 2 years, and really a guy who is still kind of learning his ropes as being like the passer and how they want to do things, as opposed to the other rookies who most of them have gotten a chance to either start from day one, or even Justin Fields, who has gotten to start after I think they were like a game and a half in, and then Justin Fields has started ever since. And you see the optimism he's built even over having like 4 straight losses.
Yeah, you look at where he's at right now. And I'm not trying to compare Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow to Trey Lance directly, but look how having the years that they had as rookies put them in positions to look as good as they look right now. Well-oiled machines. The offenses are ready to rumble. Like if you had started Trey Lance, and I said this from the beginning on all that I'm how dialed in I am to Niner content and our Quad Box show on Fridays on Instagram. Like I'm around Niner people a lot, and I took a lot of heat because I'm a fantasy football show. I'm not a Niner community. I'm not a Niner channel. Like I tell things how they are, even when I'm in a environment full of Niner people. And I took crap over and over by saying Trey Lance needs to start week 1. He needs to start week 1. And I've said that from day one. I haven't wavered. I didn't say that when it became, okay, now it's popular to hate on Shanahan. No, it was from week 1. And I said from the beginning, you have, and I got clowned on a lot early on, and I don't hear any of that now, but you're going to win more games starting Trey Lance in week 1 in 2021 than starting Jimmy G. And on top of that, even if you were to win the same amount of games, or even let's say worst case scenario, 1 less game, which I don't believe, I'm just saying worst case scenario, you would be in a position today, walking into week 10, fully prepared, seeing progress like people see out of Mac Jones and Fields, where you're like, okay, we weathered through some ups and downs, but now we're ready. The offense is ready. But no, instead, now you're at day 1, potentially, if you started them in week 10, you're not even starting them in week 10, but now this is ground zero. This is 0 point. And everything moving forward is going to be painful, whereas now it could have been upside. And it's frustrating.
I have one last question for you. All right. Does Kyle, so I was listening to the Mayoko podcast. I was on a jog, 3-mile jog, and I've been paying for it ever since. I'm like super sore. It was like 2 days ago. But anyways, I was on 3-mile jog, and I'm listening to Mayoko's podcast, and he says that there's 0 chance that Kyle Shanahan is on a hot seat. And I think most of us would kind of agree, right? Like he's not going to get fired. I think most of us can agree on that because of the way the contract is kind of set up. But Mayoko didn't bring up the contract and how it was set up. What he said was, well, he's not on a hot seat because they're going to give him a chance to let this thing play out with Trey Lance, right? And they're like, basically the clock on Trey Lance hasn't started yet. So if the clock on Lance hasn't started, it hasn't started on Kyle Shanahan being fired. My question to you is, does Kyle Shanahan give you the confidence that, or shown you anything to give you confidence that he's the right guy for Trey Lance moving forward? Like if he can't have a successful season with this team right now, and with Jimmy Garoppolo as quarterback, which he was supposed to have a winning season, and he's struggling to do that, do you have confidence that he's the guy for Trey Lance moving forward, and that it's just miraculously going to get better next year?
0%, negative percent chance that he's the wrong guy for the Niners. And I think he's proven that time and time and time again. In the right scenario, in the right, focalized part of this team as the offensive coordinator without all the past. I don't think you could just demote him either. Not only is he too stubborn to ever accept anything like that, but even if you demoted him, let's say, into offensive coordinator and brought someone else in, he's too into his head right now in regards to the situation. There's a reason why Bruce Arians was fired, moves on to a new situation, wins a Super Bowl, looks fantastic. Sometimes you need to hit reset, and when you go down a certain road, you can't come back from it. So Shanahan can't come back from this, get inserted in a different way, reset. It's got to be reset for him. Someone's got to remove him from the equation to give him a shot to do something else somewhere else, and maybe he can do that. But I have 0% faith that he's the right quarterback, not only because he won't put him in, but because his play calling's bad and he's too messed up in his own head. He's second guessing everything. And I think there's no shot for him to come back from this and do as effective of a job as he would have done had he just put him in week one. Now he's defying everything. He's stubborn. And like you said earlier, Croc, this is perfect example of not only, I think, Shanahan, but potentially the way the Niners are viewing this and letting it happen is that it's he wants to do it his way, and he wants to do it a certain way, a perceived way, not like Bill Belichick where he's just cares about the win. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off, throw Mac Jones in there. Maybe we lose one game out of 3 or 4 that we should win, but in week 5, week 6, we'll be ready to go better off than we would have been had we had Cam in there and then have him get hurt or something like that, and then be dealing with it anyway. We all know Jimmy G's not lasting the season, whether it's pressure, bad play, and you can't ask him to live under this microscope pressure all year long anyway. He just wouldn't survive, even if he stayed healthy, which is half the battle anyway. You're going to be faced with the inevitable situation where you're going to shove Lance in there. And wouldn't you have rather gone through the growing pains, winning the same amount of games, potentially more, letting this man marinate in the offense, let the offense get used to playing the style of football you're going to be playing with the pass protections you're going to be using, the schemes. Everything is different under Trey Lance. Now you got to do all that from scratch, and everybody's got to learn together from week 11 or 12 or whatever on, whereas the whole offense would have been ready to go, primed like a well-oiled machine by this time. It's crazy that he's not on the hot seat. And I blame everybody from Lynch up for continuing to allow that to be the mentality of, oh, we're just gonna give him a pass until Trey Lance gets inserted in there late, and then we'll start the clock. I don't understand that mentality at all.
Well, it looks like Shanahan is the guy that hired these guys, so they might not have a choice, and maybe they do, but we've all agreed that Shanahan's extremely stubborn. But man, Smitty, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm gonna get the next caller on.
Appreciate you, Croc.
All right, that was my guy. Oh wait, Smitty.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find. So I have the Fantasy Football Show on YouTube. You can type that in, youtube.com/the Fantasy Football Show, or you can get on over to smitty1.com. That's where all of my content can be found, smitty1.com. But yeah, check me out. And I got to get you on the Fantasy Football Show to talk Niner fantasy football content, Croc, because I do have a bunch of questions for you in regards to Sermon and Mitchell and Debo and Ayuk and all that from a fantasy perspective. So we got to do that soon.
Sounds good. Let's do it. All right, man. Here we go. Got my guy Roscoe's on. What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. This is a blessed morning.
You only come on when there's something really on your mind. So I know you got something cooking up.
Actually, no, I don't. I just wanted to come on, say what's up. And a matter of fact, you didn't answer my question. I had to go because my brother called me, so I couldn't watch with everybody, but I had to go back and listen. You didn't answer my question. You gave a bunch of vague answers, Croc. I need you to build the 49ers for 2022. You said the receivers are intact. Are the receivers intact? I don't think we got a good number 3 receiver. We don't got a good number 3 receiver.
Do you need a good number 3 receiver? Like when we say good number 3 receiver, Like what is it like? What is it? Number 3.
Sanu is not one.
Well, one, he's hurt now, so I mean, I guess now. But like a number 3 receiver is just a solid contributor, right? Like especially in this offense, that's not like super pass happy. So when I look at the 49ers and where they're like, Kendrick Bourne was a perfect number 3 receiver. Like, can you find another Kendrick Bourne? It's not somebody that catches. It's not somebody that catches, 5 passes a game. You just need your clutch, a couple third down catches, maybe a touchdown here and there. Kendrick Bourne was good at that, but if all things are equal and you have everybody healthy, you got Debo, you got Ayuk, and you have Kendrick Bourne for an entire season, Bourne maybe gets 30 catches. Can you have a number 3 receiver that just does that? And so I don't think it's so much that like you have to prioritize that position. You just got to find somebody that fits that role.
Would you revamp the whole secondary?
I'd build from the defensive line back a little bit more. Like I get it, like getting a cornerback and things like that. That's sexy, and I would like that as well. But I really think, like, especially in today's day and age where everything is so like just like pass coverage, everything's against pass coverage. The pass interferences, the way they're calling it, the way they call illegal contact, the way they call holding, the way everything is like the way the game is super spread out now. Everything is against pass coverage. If it's me, I'm building from the front. So I need to go, like, who's going to go get at the quarterback? And I think right now that's what the 49ers are possibly missing, guys, right? Like, you don't have Kinlaw's not really affecting the game as a pass rusher, and he's not playing. He's hurt. D Ford, he's out now. They have him on IR for however long. He's not affecting it. So I think really the bigger issue is the 49ers have to do a better job of affecting the passers. You affect the passers, you move quarterbacks off their spots, they begin to get a little bit more inaccurate. I don't agree that if you just go and get a cornerback, okay, he's good, but how much is that really affecting the game? I think the 49ers legitimately need to really work on revamping that front. And I know people don't want to hear that, but just the way the game is kind of trending, I think that's what would benefit a secondary more than anything.
See, this is what I was expecting. This is a better breakdown. I got another question. Did you answer
too? Excuse me, my bad. Coverage linebackers and front. I think those affect the game. That affects the game more than drafting a second round pick high.
Of course, yeah, I agree 100%. Either philosophy works for me.
I meant cornerback. My bad. That affects the game more than drafting a cornerback high. Excuse me. Go ahead though.
Either philosophy works with me. Building from the back to the front or from the front to the back. Either one works for me. We all know the defensive line is. I mean, a dominant defensive line is hard to beat. We've seen it with the Bucks. They don't have an elite secondary. And they're proving that this year, even though they got some guys hurt, it's like they're not really that good. They weren't really that good, last year. And their pass rushers got the feast. They got a Vita Vea, dominant nose. They got what's his name? JPP. And then they had other dude.
They just drafted Tryon too.
Tryon, and what's the other one? Barrett. Yeah. So they a dominant defensive line does a lot. I mean, I think if you look at the past 2 years, Niners dominant defensive line, they were in the Super Bowl, and I mean, we really flustered teams. My biggest thing is stopping the run, though, because when we were able to stop the run, right, our pass rushers got the feast, and so whatever the Niners need to do, I mean, there's some good D tackles coming out, but of course, we don't have a top pick, so I don't know how that's going to work. I'm sure they can find some, early to late in the draft. So hopefully they can fix that. Did you answer my who's the NFL MVP question?
Yeah, I said I don't know if he's the NFL MVP in the sense of just playing great, but just with everything that he's had to battle and overcome. And I went with Derek Carr, like the situation that's going on with Oakland. Losing your head coach. Losing a receiver who killed someone in a car crash. You got a cornerback that's waving guns and telling he's going to kill everybody. Like just everything that's going on around there, and for Carr to kind of hold it together and still be the face of that and still give some type of hope and optimism and them not really sink in this time, I think that's amazing what he's doing. So I don't know if it's MVP, but he's got to get some kind of award for how he's kind of held that situation together. You look at the 49ers, you would think the 49ers have gone through what the Raiders are going through, and they're the team with the winning record.
True, very true. I'm going to say Lamar Jackson. I think, the injuries that they had, the team not playing well, but he's putting them on their back throughout almost 3 different times where he had to carry them to victory. Lamar Jackson gets my vote. I think Brady's a number 2, very close. But right now, Lamar is just like carrying his team. So I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up about the Raiders, though, because I think, and I told you this, but I think that, and in your next couple episodes, I think we need to have like one of those life talks again, to address some of these things that's, going on with the Raiders, possibly going on with Dalvin Cook. There's a lot of things going on in the NFL, and I think these players, they're a part of society. And, so some people may be dealing with the same things that these guys are dealing with. Some people may be alcoholics, and maybe they can learn from, well, man, Henry Ruggs did that. I can learn from that. Not to do, like what not to do. Or Dalvin Cook, I'm having issues with a woman. Now, again, I don't know about Dalvin Cook yet. It's just accusations. And then Damian Arnett, just how to deal with, trolls. You know what I'm saying? Like, just learn how to deal with trolls and stay off the internet if you're going to threaten to kill somebody. So I definitely think we in need for one of those life talks from you, and maybe and have a real good conversation amongst the people. But other than that,
we'll get to that eventually.
Other than that, man, thank you. Thank you for answering my questions. And I think that next year draft, actually not even next year's draft, but 2023, I think that's the draft. That's going to be a special draft, and hopefully the 49ers will be able to at least be decent enough next year, but then go into that 2023 draft and really get some dogs. But all right, Croc, I'm out of here.
All right. And man, shoes, I hope so, because I'm tired of 49ers being sorry. Real quick, got my guy Matt coming on. Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. What's up with you today, this morning, man?
Oh, man, I can't complain.
And so, what y'all was talking about earlier, man, I kind of just got up in here, man.
So I talked about the draft class and really how the draft class isn't nearly as bad as what people think. I started from the bottom, so 6th round, and worked my way up to the 1st round. And when I looked at Elijah Mitchell, Talanoa Hufanga, Diamador Lenore, and Jalen Moore, I kind of looked at all those guys, those 4 guys, as potential starters in the NFL, right? Obviously, Elijah Mitchell, he is a starter, and we're good with him. But Hufanga, he can play. I don't think he's somebody that's terrible. He's on the field. Diamador Lenore, he showed that he can play some good football. Broke up a bunch of passes in just his short stint starting, and obviously like had some rookie kind of growing pains with some things in coverage. But I think that those are things he can work on, and I profile him as a terrific nickel guy. Jalen Moore, he's someone who came in and filled in that left tackle. Most people that watched him said that he played well. Some people even went as far as say he played better than McGlinchey. I don't know about that, but they're saying he played well. So I think, he's a potential starter. So if you look at those 4 picks, I think those guys that can play, and then you look at Ambry Thomas, Aaron Banks, they might just be misses. Trey Sermon, he's a guy who definitely can play, should play. Don't know why he's not playing, but at the very least, he should be, he should be the spill back as opposed to like Hasty. I think Sermon, had a really good game against the Seahawks, and then almost ran for almost 100 yards, and then the next week it was like nothing, 1 carry, 7 yards, and then since then I don't even know if he's played. So I like the draft a little bit more than other people, but obviously you would like to see Kyle and those guys really kind of commit to getting some of those guys in a little bit more, especially in the secondary. But yeah, we talked about that, and then we talked about Kyle Shanahan and how he's kind of put himself and Trey Lance in a very tough position, a position to where I think it'd be difficult for them to build a lot of optimism unless Trey Lance just comes in and just lights it up on fire, which if you look at any of the other rookies, that hasn't been the case. There haven't been rookies that come in and hit the ground running and are just lights out. I think Trey Lance, what we saw from him, in his first game as a starter, as you know, and if you compare that to the other rookies' first starts, he's right up there with the best of them. I think there's a lot to improve on, but also a lot to be encouraged about. And I think the longer he prolongs that, the tougher it is for him kind of moving forward. I'm talking about Kyle Shanahan. So that's kind of where this conversation went.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of, I think we kind of alluded to that before. And you was like, it's kind of like, you know, getting a new girlfriend. You got the new girl and you still want to get some from the old girl. So you want to keep her on the side and still keep her. That's not going to work, man. And you see,
ain't gonna work.
Yeah. Well, you see, until they, you know, decide to move on and embrace the future, then we probably going to continue to have these. That's just, you know, that's like real life, bro. Like, you know, you got to move on and embrace your future and look forward to the future. You can't keep living in the past, you know, and the whole 2019 vibes and all that stuff. That's where they messed up to begin with. They should have came with a whole new attitude. They should have got rid of Jamie and did everything. You can't, you know, bring the old girl and expect her to get along with the new girl and think it's going to work. So, like, that's common sense. Eventually, I knew it was going to blow up. I seen the writing on the wall. So, you know, I kind of, you know, I just want to see Trey prosper with this team. I don't care about the coaches, Kyle Shanahan. I don't care about him. I'm a fan of this team, bro. Like, I'm not a fan of none of these coaches, even some of the players, bro. I want to see the players do good when they on our team. But as far as like, oh, what we gonna do without, bro? Forget Shanahan, bro. Like, we can make it work with, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I look at it, bro. Like, you got to look at it. I look at it like as a team, bro. Like, I'm not in love with any players or any coach, like none of that, bro. Like, I just want to see our team do good. That's how I look at it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in due time.
Someone said if this season was a girl, she'd smell and have no teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, yeah, exactly. Like I said, man, until we, you know, embrace that, or Kyle embrace that himself, you know, I don't see us, you know, we're gonna continue to keep losing. Pretty much, like I said, I'm ready to see these rookies start playing like everyone is. You know, I'm excited about our future, even though we're going through a lot of turmoil. I've been through all the bad times, all the bad coaches, Troy Smith and all these guys like O'Sullivan. And so I'm going to continue to be faithful and I'm going to continue to support my team. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be realistic. I'm not going to get mad about it. Like I said, I've been chilling, not trying to get too emotional about the game. Even on Monday night, I got a feeling it's going to get ugly. But like I said, man, I'm gonna keep a positive attitude, bro. And I'm going to continue to, you know, rep the faithful. Like I said, it ain't about the coaches. It ain't about the players. It's about that red and gold at the end of the day. So, you know, I just want to see us prosper and do well. And thanks for letting me come on and say my piece, bro.
All good, man. I appreciate you, Matt. And I appreciate everybody that came on this show, man. Thanks a lot. You know, I've talked about it, man. A good part of my day is hanging out with y'all every morning, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. If you're new to the show, I hope you liked it. And if you enjoyed it, I'd like to have you back. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. Everybody, I want to thank for the contributions. And yeah, guys, we'll be right back tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast.